Hello fellow Nokia experts, this is Matt Miller. We are participating in the round robin third annual review and kind of look at every device, and today we have some pre's in front of us, or webOS devices
Right.
with Dieter Bohn from Pre Central.
I'm excited to be here.
Alright, now let's take a look at a couple of these. We've got the Palm Pre on one side and the Palm Pixi. I'm going to leave the Pixi at first because I've actually played with the Pre a little bit,
Okay.
and then we'll dive into the Pixi, which I haven't played with much. I tried it for a couple weeks, right? And so I'm a little familiar with it. For my readers and viewers here, this is the Palm Pre on Sprint.
Yep.
Launched, when did this launch?
June.
Okay, June.
6th, I think.
And what's the camera on that?
It's a 3-megapixel camera with extended depth of field, which means that it does a good job focusing close and far without having to do autofocus.
Okay.
It seems kind of corny, but it basically means you can take pictures really quickly and they're pretty decent quality, just really fast.
All right, and the hardware, it feels almost like a skipping stone. Like I want to take this thing and throw it across the lake or something, you know. So it's pretty simple around the form. I mean, as far as the buttons and things, right? We've got a volume button there, and is that a button or is
No, that's the door for the charger port. Yeah, it's
And
got
then
the same number of buttons on the outside as the iPhone, and I honestly don't think that that's a coincidence.
And is that a lock?
That is a ringer switch.
Okay,
so
ringer
you set
switch.
that to silent, and that'll silent all sounds instead of to vibrate.
Okay, and now this display, which is pretty cool, if you can see it in the video, it's completely flush. There's like no bezel, there's nothing there. You can't tell really where the display ends and starts. So we slide it up to turn it on, right?
Yep, you can slide it up to turn it on, or you can hit the power button, and it will
Okay.
it'll give you a little unlock icon, which we can see on the Pixi a little bit later.
Now, is there an on-screen keyboard, or is it used this hardware keyboard for?
There is no on-screen keyboard on the webOS by default, but if you want to get into to hacking, well, not really hacking, but patches, which is sort of hacking into the OS, loading some stuff on to change stuff around a little bit. You can do it that way, and it's pretty good. It's not great. Mostly, I just use the on-screen or the physical keyboard because it's a lot more convenient for me.
So I'm going to take a little walk around the interface, and I've got some questions for you about the hackability, actually, a little bit. So we've got this is, I guess, the home screen, right?
Well, yeah, I mean it's a home screen, I guess, but there's no home screen on webOS, and that's something that I kind of miss. So you either have got applications in open and cards open, or you've got nothing. And so the home screen is just this is with nothing running.
So do we have nothing running right now, right?
Right. That's
Okay.
correct.
So if I tap on something, hopefully it's not showing any personal stuff here.
No, it probably won't. It might. We'll see. And we're experiencing that sometimes webOS can be a little bit slow, and I haven't reset this in a couple of days, so that might be part of it.
So then I tap another one there.
Yeah, and that's the web browser there.
Okay, so if I push this, does that go back to like viewing the different?
You push the center button.
Okay.
It takes you to your card view, so you can see what the applications are that you currently have running.
Okay, gotcha. And these down here are these customizable buttons as well?
Yeah, those are your favorites. And what's cool about it is they're always there. So if you do a half swipe up from the gesture area down there, you can always get to them from any application. And then if you want, you can always, of course, go to the launcher to get all of the applications on the phone.
All right, now on this launcher, with Nokia, we're used to being able to add our own folders and move things around. Can you do that with this?
No, you get 3 pages, and each page is infinite vertically, and then you can go side to side. Typically, each page only has 3. Again, I've hacked this thing, and you can also hack it to add more pages. But there's no folders.
Okay.
Which is there's no folders. There's no categories. It'd be nice to have both of those.
But can you move them around? I mean, as far
Sure,
as
yeah. Just you can go ahead, hold your finger down on an icon, and now you can drag it around.
Okay, so you can put like your most used on the first page to
Yeah.
make it easy access. Okay, and it's infinite down, you said?
Yep.
Okay, interesting.
Other than that, there's
It
not
looks.
really any
It's so
knocks
cool
against
how it just seems to like all of this is integrated. Just the
Looks
fit
like
and finish of it
Yeah,
into the
right.
device is
Their
very cool.
goal was to try and make like the status indication stuff blend into the rest of the device, so it feels like the stuff that's in this curved card area is like the display, the software, and everything else around it up here and at the bottom is sort of just like part of the hardware because it's the nitty gritty functionality, and so they wanted it to sort of be a little bit invisible and not get in your way.
Now, before we go to the Pixi, the Nokia devices, really, you can't hack them very much at all. They're pretty locked down. What was that kind of thing you're talking about of being able to customize without
it's called patching, and you can do it. You can change you can have custom themes, so you can have like a little Christmas theme, so it's a Christmas tree instead of a signal indicator. You can do things like, if you notice, I had 4 rows of icons on the launcher.
Right.
That's a patch. You notice I've got the date up here. That's not by default. So it's changing, lots of little things that we wish Palm would either let us change, or that maybe Palm won't let us change it, but we want to do it. And it's just really convenient and makes the phone a lot more usable. And what's amazing is how open the OS is, that people are able to do it relatively easily.
Okay.
And unlike, say, jailbreaking on the iPhone, Palm's not going after anybody for it.
And you don't really risk bricking the device so much.
It's almost impossible to brick a pre.
Okay.
You can almost always save it. If you do some really, really crazy stuff, I suppose you could. But basically, we like to say you can't brick a pre, and that's 99% true.
And the whole base of the pre, right? It's HTML. The OS is HTML based, right?
Right.
So,
yeah. It's technically Linux.
Okay.
Everything runs in HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, and so what that means is it's very, very easy to code for, but it's not easy, or right now kind of impossible, to make really intense 3D games and 3D graphics.
Okay. Okay. So that's the pre. I want to take a look at this Pixi. This is a new device, right? This just recently launched.
This just launched, like a month ago.
Okay. And what's amazing, I mean, this is a real, you can see the size of my hand from pictures previously. This is a small device. It's really, really tiny. And I like the soft touch back. It's got a camera, I see, even with a flash on this device too.
Yep,
huh?
that's only a 2-megapixel camera, and I gotta say, it's kind of bad.
Oh, okay.
The camera, I mean, you're not going to be saving those pictures in the family album.
This keyboard is much like the Centro and kind of like the Palm Trio Pro that I've had before.
Yeah, and actually the surprising thing is I like that keyboard better than the Palm Pre's keyboard, just because since it's flat, they can make it a lot clickier.
Okay.
It looks really small, but it actually turns out to be very usable.
Now, how do I turn on this? Do I tap on the keyboard?
There's a power button up at the top, and that's kind of awkward. So you hit that, and then you might have to. Yeah, there you go. And then you can slide up to unlock.
Slide up. Okay.
And there you go.
Okay, so it's kind of a two-step
and
deal.
we'll just swipe that notification away.
Okay. Oh, so that's how you get rid of notifications?
Yeah,
swipe those?
when you get a notification, it doesn't interrupt you. It just shows up at the bottom. You can swipe it away to get rid of it, or you can tap on it to actually, go do something in it.
Okay. So this, the same OS, interface, everything else?
Yeah, the main difference is here you've got a slightly smaller screen, which in practice doesn't really bother me that much.
Mm-hmm.
It has a slightly slower processor, so you can't run as many cards at once. And then it doesn't have Wi-Fi, which I think is a tragedy.
But it is a multitasking device, right?
Sure.
Too. I mean, you can run Pandora in the background and do other things. And
you bet. Okay. And it's got GPS, so you can do. It's got free turn-by-turn navigation with Sprint Navigation, or whatever their map app is called. It comes with Google Maps, all of that.
And these both devices are Sprint network only, correct?
Yeah, they're only on Sprint right now, and that's a real problem. Palm really needs to get a lot of these phones out there so that developers can get into it, because they've got about 500 or so official apps, and they really need to get a lot more. But it's hitting Verizon hopefully in early 2010, or we know it is in early 2010.
Okay.
And so
that should be big. Yeah, that should be big having a network like that behind them. Yeah. That'll be real interesting to see how they do with Verizon behind them.
Yeah.
I really, when I played with it for a couple weeks, I've got a special place in my heart for Palm. I mean, that's what I started with back in '97, right? So I really would want to see more of these devices. The interface is very slick and user-friendly. One thing I forgot to mention, so I've got these apps running. What do I do to close them?
That's what's the really intuitive part. When you're done with an app and you don't want it anymore, you just take it, swipe it. Oop, that's how you reorder. You take it and you swipe it away.
And that closes it?
That closes the app. Yep.
So if you don't close it, will it just dynamically manage that?
Well, no. Unfortunately, it won't close apps that you haven't used in a while in the background. It leaves everything open. And so what it does instead is if you try and open a new card or a new app, it pops up a warning. It says, you're done.
Okay.
You got to close some cards first.
Okay. We get those warnings sometimes on the RAM of a Nokia device too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you gotta go
It'll say you've got you got too much memory. Close something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It does dynamically do it sometimes, but sometimes it doesn't do that.
Okay.
So we get the best of both, or the worst of both, I guess. Huh? All right. Well, thanks, Dieter. I appreciate it walking through these webOS devices, and look forward to seeing more launch in 2010.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Thanks.